everybody, it's Christina from Redefine Creative, and I am super excited to be participating in the What Does School Look Like for You Crafty School Hop. And my friend Sarah Scraps organized this hop, and there are, like, seriously, you guys, 4 days and 40 videos, all different, showing you all kinds of school-related types of inspiration. And so I decided I wanted to create a page kind of showing the difference between the first day of school this year compared to the first day of school last year. And so that's kind of where I started. And I'm pulling out a mix of collections to play with because that's one of my absolute favorite things to do. So I have some leftover Cool Kid, which is an older crepe paper collection that was one of my favorites. And so I'm going to play with some of that. I also have this Illustrated Faith gray like background paper. We're going to use that. And then I have some simple stories that we're going to throw in here too. So we're getting all the things. And so what I want to do is I'm going to use that gray kind of geometric background from Illustrated Faith as my background. And then I want to use half of this map paper. And this is the one that is from Crepe Paper Cool Kid, which is an older collection, but absolutely one of my favorites. And so I'm going to have that going on kind of a diagonal across my page. And then I want to use this sticker border kind of through that middle section. But I'm going to have to cut it up into pieces because I don't have a big enough strip to go the entire length of that diagonal. So I'm going to add like one little piece at the top, one little piece at the bottom, and I think that's going to be enough, but then I end up having to go back and add a piece in the middle just based on where I put my pictures. So basically I have 2 pictures of Parker from the first day of school. One is this year's, so 2020, and one is last year's, which was the like 2019 school year. So I have 7th grade and 8th grade. And there is a drastic difference between the 2. So in last year's picture, he's got his backpack, his school uniform, he is ready to go to like in-person learning. And this year's picture is like gym shorts and sandals and a laptop because he is going to 8th grade virtually, at least for now. And so it's a big difference in his first day of school reality. And so that's kind of what I'm documenting. And I knew that I wanted to have a really big title. And so I'm not going to have a ton of embellishing. I'm going to use pattern paper to do a lot of it for me. I don't have a whole lot of embellishments left from Cool Kid because I've been using that collection for a really long time. And I didn't want to use a school collection because that just felt a little bit too, I don't know, expected maybe. I don't often like to use things that are super, super thematic. I have some school themed stuff, but I don't know. I tend to choose other things. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't use a ton of super, super thematic things, especially for like back to school. So I'm pulling out some of that 6x6 paper pad from the Cool Kid collection, and I'm going to take my punch, and it might be a little off screen, but I'm taking my notebook edge punch, and I'm adding that because this is going to be the first layer behind each of my photos, behind the white cardstock. So I'm going to use one where I put the notebook edge on the left-hand side, and then on the other photo, I'm going to put the notebook edge on the right-hand side. So it's going to kind of like close in both of my photos together. They're going to end up kind of overlapping each other because I want to leave a bunch of area in that gray space for a really like big extended title. And the title ends up being like even bigger than I had planned on. So we'll see what you guys think because it is a nice big title with lots and lots of fonts and words. So I have those 2 kind of opposite edge notebook pieces, and then I'm just going to tuck in a bunch of scraps. So like I said, I don't have a ton of this collection left, but I really love the patterns, and so I'm pulling them all out for this one. And I'm just going to tuck one little piece in the side, like under each of my photos, and I just keep kind of going back and forth like that. And then I decide that I also want to have this little like banner area up in this top right-hand corner. So I created another little notebook edge, and I'm just going to kind of stack up all my pattern papers that I'm using up there so that I get a pop of all of those colors as well. And because I don't have a lot, I'm just using small kind of chunks of pattern paper behind my photo. And I love how that looks because it looks like I'm very intentionally placing all of these big pieces of pattern paper. when really it was kind of just because I had to create it that way. But sometimes it's a good challenge to kind of use your scraps and challenge yourself to not use full sheets of everything. But I did want to have a little pop of yellow, so I'm flipping through that 6x6 pad, finding all these little teeny tiny scraps that have the yellow color, because I don't have any full sheets of yellow left. And then I'm just going to kind of cut those apart into even smaller little chunks so that I can stick them into my layers. And it ends up creating a lot of like texture and dimension with all the layers that I have going on, which works out really well. It's just kind of a piecemeal way to create that layout or to create those layers behind my photo. So then I'm going to take these little black thickers and I'm going to put 2019 on last year's picture. And then I'm going to put 2020 on this year's picture. So then I am making that like distinction obvious that these are two very different years of the school experience. And I was going to go horizontally with that one, but I felt like I was going to run out of room. So I went ahead and just did vertically for both of them. So we've got our 2019, we've got our 2020. I am actually going to do a bunch of journaling on this one, you guys, which I often don't do until after I have already, you know, posted the video. But I am going to put some journaling on here, so you'll see it coming in a little bit. So now I'm pulling out some elements from this Bro & Co. company from Simple Stories. Yeah, Bro & Co. So I have these 3 stars that have this checkered print, and I have this little stack of books that I thought was perfect. And then on the sticker sheet, there's a sticker that has like headphones, and so I'm going to attach that kind of layered with those books to kind of show this idea that we are doing some virtual learning now. So we've got a combination of last year in person, this year we're doing some virtual, and I really like how those kind of layer up together. There's a little sticker word that says legit on the sticker sheet, and that's going to come back later on to play into this layout. So as the layout progresses, kind of watch for that because it's going to come back. All right, so now I'm grabbing some Bella Boulevard, and this is a soccer sheet, which this layout has nothing to do with soccer, but it does have this really bold black alpha, and I'm going to use it to spell out the word difference. So I'm creating a huge title. So now I've got these stickers from Shamel Never Grow Up, and I'm using those to spell out what a and then a year. So far I've got what a difference a year for my title. We're going to add more because, you know, that doesn't exactly make sense, but we're getting there. So far, I'm just kind of playing with how all these letters are going to fit together. And I use these little black ones that I used for the numbers to spell out the word makes, but then I don't really like it. So I'm originally thinking that my title is going to be What a Difference a Year Makes. And then I'm going to leave it at that. But then I decided that I just don't really like those letters. So I'm going to go back to the bigger letters. Well, then I encounter another problem. So hopefully I'm not the only one. You guys will have to tell me in the comments below if your process ever looks like this, where you're like, okay, that's not going to work. All right, that's not going to work. All right, adjust again. All right, what are we going to do now? So those big black letters fit perfectly for the word make, but not makes. So then my title didn't make any sense. So I was like, all right, how can I change this? So I pulled in these blue letters and made my title instead, What a Difference a Year Can Make. So now we're getting somewhere. We at least have a title that makes sense. But I have that little gap after what a before difference. So I'm thinking in my head already that that's kind of an issue for me. But I've got some of these little phrase stickers that I wanted to add that are kind of things that work with this school layout. So like the first one says, I think it's something about Wi-Fi. What is the Wi-Fi, or where is the Wi-Fi, something like that. And I was like, oh, that's perfect for virtual school. So I have those little phrases on there. I add that journaling, so I'm kind of comparing the 2 years of like uniforms and backpacks and lockers to gym shorts and computers and Zoom calls. And that's kind of what my journaling talks about. And that's where that little word legit came in. So that little word legit fit perfectly and finished up my title. So my whole title now is going to say, what a legit difference a year can make. And I really like how all of that kind of comes together and fits together on the layout. I tucked this little backpack in down at the bottom. and I had to move the phrases around a little bit, but I feel like that was the perfect little addition down there. And that's basically going to do it. So it came together really easily. I didn't need a ton of embellishing because I have this huge oversized title. But I really love this idea of comparing my son's first day of school reality last year to this year. So I encourage you in some of your school layouts to think about how and what you can compare. And make sure you check out everybody else hopping along for these 4 days. Bye, guys.